Today I'll be interviewing Denise Willet, Senior Director Achievers EMEA. We'll be discussing leveraging recognition to drive engagement and business results. So Denise, tell us about how recognition and engagement have evolved in recent years and a bit about the emerging trends.
Absolutely, that's a great question. It used to be in the past, you got a job, you'd go to work, you'd work your 30 plus years. If you were lucky enough, you'd climb the corporate ladder, you'd collect your pension. I remember when I got my first job at IBM, fresh out of university, I was just so excited to have a job at an organization that my family could be proud of. Today, people are looking for deeper meaning. They want a connection to their organization. They want to add value every day. They want to be moving forward on a regular basis, and they want to be connected to that organization's overall vision and values. It's funny, just yesterday, I had an interview with a candidate for a role here at Achievers, and when I asked him what questions he had for me, his very first question was, tell me about the culture of your organization. I don't think that's a question would have been asked 5 years ago. It certainly wasn't a question I would have asked 17 years ago. The power has really shifted from the employer to the employee. Employees today, or candidates today, they have access to information, the good, the bad, the ugly, about organizations on Glassdoor, on Facebook, on Twitter. And, that shift from the employer to employee just makes it even harder to recruit. Imagine being a recruiter trying to recruit for an organization with a 2.1 Glassdoor rating. And it must be mentioned that, not just recruiting, but retaining that talent is more important than ever. It must be talked about. But millennials, we know a lot about them. There's a lot of studies happening around them. But millennials, according to Deloitte, will make up 75% of the global workforce by 2025. And almost half of them expect to leave their jobs in the next 24 months. So recruiting and retaining that talent is extremely important. And then what does that employee engagement, how does that employee engagement tie to the bottom line? So you attract and you retain these employees, then they need to be happy, because according to Gallup, highly engaged workforces outperform their peers by 147% in earnings per share. So happy employees contribute to your bottom line. What is the key to unlocking that performance? What is the key to creating those happy employees? Well, we believe that's through frequent recognition. And lucky for us, Harvard Business Review agrees. Harvard Business Review have said that recognition is the number one trigger of employee engagement. So really, the evolving trend is, on the past, the key focus was on profits and stakeholder value. And today, organizations need to be focusing on creating happy and engaged employees, because they will take care of your customers, your brand, and your bottom line.
For those that really like the idea of having an integrated, automated recognition solution, but are finding management harder to convince, can you share any hints for gaining leadership buy-in?
Absolutely. We really believe that executive and leadership support is a core best practice to implementing a successful program. Leaders in an organization need to walk the talk. You cannot delegate a culture. I had an opportunity to be on site at a recent launch of a recognition program that we implemented. And this particular customer followed all of the best practices that we put forward. But while I was there on site that day and walking through the halls, the one thing that really stood out to me the most was the buzz around a recognition that their president had sent out to the entire 80,000 person population. People were talking about how they had gotten a personalized recognition from the president of the company, and that really meant a lot to them. So I guess you're asking, how do you get that kind of leader buy-in? Well, it's important to understand that different businesses and different areas of the business or different functions have different needs. And understanding that and then being able to speak the language of the leaders is a key element in gaining leadership buy-in to a recognition program. And we believe the best approach to that is to tie your recognition to key business objectives. Imagine, for example, you're a manufacturing organization and you want to reduce absenteeism or increase safety days. Well, we have one customer who did just that. They increased their safe day record from 363 days, which is already really good, to 595 consecutive days, saving $1.8 million in safety costs. If that doesn't speak to leadership, I don't know what does. Another great example is a local UK online retailer, a customer of ours, who saw a 17-point increase in engagement since rolling out their formal recognition platform. They also saw an increase in profits of 43.6% and attribute that to their highly engaged workforce and their recognition program. It's really important for program data in your recognition program to be able to demonstrate an increase in the bottom line. You want to impact that overall engagement, but you also want to tie back to business performance so you can take those stories back to leadership. If you're engaged with a partner or a vendor, lean on them to arm you with the information that you need and bring forward examples of proven outcomes in businesses. We have a customer that we're working for right now, and I'm not going to name them, but I think we did 50 demos through the course of the sales cycle, and we're absolutely happy to do that. So lean on the people who are doing this and have been doing this for a long time to help you tell those stories. And I know it can feel like a big task to engage leadership and get that business buy-in, but don't be daunted by it. Each and every advocate you get for your program will strengthen the ultimate success of that program.
Some of our audience might have a program in place, but is struggling to maintain momentum or not seeing the results they desire. Any tips?
Absolutely. We're often approached by customers looking for consolidation of their programs. They may have disparate programs in recognition, incentives, long service, CEO awards, innovation. The list is long. So we believe it's really about bringing all of that together over time that helps with momentum. Once that strong foundation is set, then you can go back and focus on those specific business objectives that we just talked about. One thing to keep in mind, or a tip that I have, is that it's not a set it and forget it. It's really a journey. Think about when you were happiest as an employee. Employees are happiest when they're engaged across the entire company. They're achieving excellence in their role. Maybe they're competing in a wellness challenge or a give back. Maybe they've completed a learning certification, or they're voting on and sharing innovative ideas. Maybe they're reaching a milestone of service, a 10 or 20-year milestone. Maybe it's 5 these days if we want to talk about millennials a little. And of course, maybe moving forward in your career, the list of what makes you feel great as being part of an organization is long. And when employees are recognized for all of these great things and great behaviors and feel great about what they're doing, that's when you really get that momentum. And then also doing it in a social setting where that can serve as an example to others.
There are still many industries where offline audiences are commonplace. How do we engage and make it easy for them?
I think easy is the key word in your question. And if you've been through Heathrow Airport and you are walking out of security and you see the kiosk with the happy face buttons, and you reach out and you push one of those buttons, the reason that you've pushed that button is not because you really wanted to go out of your way to give feedback, but that kiosk is in the flow of your work. And we really believe in embedding recognition in the flow of work. For example, our hospitality industry customers use kiosks as a great way to allow recognition to happen on a regular basis. They may put up posters. It's key to understand each employee population, where they spend their time, and build a solid communication plan around that. I believe the power of mobile cannot be underestimated. Did you know that the average person unlocks their phone 80 times per day? 80 times. I was shocked. I don't think I do that, but I probably do. That offline retailer that I talked to you about earlier, the one where the president recognized everyone in the organization, that retailer saw 80% adoption of their program in one day. That's 80,000 employees who are not allowed to take their phones on the shop floor, and they saw 80% adoption in one day. That executive support was a key part of that, but they also knew that it was important to implement creative communications. They had handouts in the break rooms. They built tons of excitement around launch and had their leaders as part of the launch of the program. And of course, easy-to-follow mobile instructions was a key to that, because a great deal of recognitions that come from offline organizations are around mobile. And again, you said it in the question, but making it easy is key. When it only takes 30 seconds to send a recognition, it's possible to really permeate that out into the entire organization.
Denise Willet, Senior Director at Achievers EMEA, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.